Good morning. Welcome to the Below the Surface podcast. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I got a guest today that I've been excited to have on for a while now, just for who he is and how I've gotten to know him through social media and the things that he's been doing. It's really impressive, especially being a father. It really grabbed my attention. So it's somebody I really wanted to have on the show. He owns some restaurants, which that's the industry that we're in too. So we got a lot to talk about that. So we got Michael Letchworth. Welcome.
Thanks, man.
Morning. Glad to have you, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's exciting. I've watched you for a while now. You didn't know me. I didn't know you. Kind of heard your name through mutual people and stuff. Yep. But you do some really cool stuff, man, and I want to get into that a little bit later.
Okay.
What you do with your son.
Yeah.
It really grabs me. Me and the family watch the episodes.
That's awesome.
And I know it's big on YouTube for to preach that to other parents to be more involved with their kids and get them outdoors and stuff. So we'll tap into that. But that's how I got to know you, man. And kudos to you for what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
It's impressive. How did you get into all that? Like, where did that come from?
The documenting this stuff or just the outdoor stuff in general?
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning of Aiden. How was his childhood like?
So what was like Larken's childhood like?
Like Larken in growing up, because y'all are in Aiden, right?
Yep.
And so it's a small town. So how was Larken's life in Aiden?
We lived in town Aiden up until what I got to do reverse math on Larken's age. Probably until Larken was like 3 or 4, and we built a home a little bit outside of town, and that was kind of the place where where we were at, the driveway was like 30 foot long and cars were zooming past it. And, we knew we wanted to get somewhere. I grew up out in the country, riding the creek paths and riding 4-wheelers and just being able to shoot skeet in the backyard if I wanted to. And we knew we wanted that opportunity. So we built, and then it was a family friend who is now my sister's father-in-law. He owned property behind us, and I'd gone to him and was like, hey man, can I buy like 1 acre behind the house? Or like, can I access this land for Larken to maybe have a tree house or just be able to play or whatever? And he was like, yeah, just treat it like it's yours. I don't know if I'm gonna sell anything. And all right. Well, there was a gentleman, a guy that I knew, and that had been a longtime friend of theirs. Mm-hmm. He lived in the front of this neighborhood, and he actually had always had the permission to hunt on the land. And this gentleman, Kenneth, had told me, he said, hey, look, you can ride your 4-wheelers back there, do whatever. Just, Tim's the only guy who's got permission to be back there, so you just run anything by him. So I got it with Tim, and I was like, hey, man, listen, I don't hunt. My son don't hunt. Like, all I want to do is be able to ride a 4-wheeler. I've seen there's some old logging paths back here. Mm-hmm. I've got a tractor with a bush hog. I'll help you cut paths. I'll do whatever. But, like, if Kenneth said he don't mind me being back here, if you'll let me be back here too, I'll help you, but I'll also respect whatever you're doing and stay out of the woods. And so this was all like Larken way too small to do any of these things that I'm trying to envision happening. And then, unfortunately, man, there was a house fire, and Tim passed away in that house fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the one person who had permission to be in these woods other than myself now isn't using the woods. And it was a conversation a little bit back and forth of, and I just finally told Kim, look, if you're ever willing to sell it, like, let's talk, but I don't really want to have to manage permission of who's back here and not. I'd rather it just be mine. And we ended up being able to work a deal that I ended up purchasing. It was about 83 acres. Well, the first plot was 60, and then I bought 20 more from another guy. But we got 83 acres right behind the house that I started. I don't have a lot of equipment. I've got a 32 horsepower tractor with a bush hog and a box blade, and I've done a hell of a lot with those too.
You can do it. You can do it.
I mean, beating them down, tearing them up. I mean, just everything they're not intended for, I've been putting them through.
Right.
So I just started making paths and doing stuff, and that became my little release. And it kind of was this, almost I was like an imposter because I'd always watched friends and stuff hunt and have land. But part of my reason for never hunting and fishing was the lack of resources, and that resources being my dad didn't do those things. We didn't have land. I didn't really have friends. And honestly, like when you've got land and you've got stuff, you can't always just invite the whole world to come. And so it's just like one of those things. It's got to be you.
Right.
So now here I start, like I'm having these fantasies in my head. I'm like, shoot, like I got land now and like this kind of stuff. But still, Larken, by the time Larken was about 4-ish, he was watching YouTube. And it's kind of really weird to look back on because I remember through the barbecue business, we would have people come up and they'd say, hey, we're going to film this little thing on barbecue. It's going to be on YouTube. I'm like, okay, like YouTube. That's kind of dumb. or, and I didn't really watch YouTube. I didn't use YouTube as a tool to learn, to entertain. I didn't use it for anything like that back then. I just knew that's where people posted, stuff. So Larken's always at home and he's in bed and he's watching Carolina All Out. Are you familiar with that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Absolutely.
Didn't know it. Like I didn't grow up watching Bill Dance. I didn't grow up watching these things, right? So like Carolina All Out was like kind of Larken's Bill Dance, and he would watch that and he'd watch the Outdoor Boys. And so the Outdoor Boys became our thing. Like Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. when they dropped a new episode, that's what we were going to try to do is watch it, and all that was inspiration for me. Like my head's spinning, like how do I create things? And then Larken saying, oh, I like to do this. My brother-in-law grew up being outside, everything. So we had been always involved since the beginning with this little turkey youth hunt called the Pirate Classic in Eastern North Carolina.
Okay.
We always would go out there. Sam Jones Barbecue would cook a pig. We would serve. We'd do all that stuff. And I had been turkey hunting through a friend who had started carrying me, really being introduced to it through being part of this Pirate Classic thing. Like, dang, I want to go turkey hunting. And I got, so kind of off subject, but for future people who go turkey hunting with a buddy, my first turkey hunt, we go out, we set up the blind, 3 or 4 turkeys come right into the decoys, and my buddy goes, don't shoot that one, there's a bigger one. Don't shoot that one. Well, that choice not to shoot that bird cost me 7 more seasons. I never got a chance at another turkey for 7 more seasons. Now, 3 seasons before that was where we're at in time. Larken's 4 years old. I've been doing this turkey hunt thing, and I hope that timeline did just become really confusing. But
no, you're good.
But basically, Larken shot a turkey 2 or 3 years before I ever did. But so I'm sitting here and we're doing this youth hunt. I'm like, dang it, I'm gonna enter Larken into this youth hunt. He's 4. How am I gonna do it? I'll sit him on my lap. We'll figure it out. Whatever. And so that was the first time we ever used our land to really. I was like, we got this. Like we've got this resource now. Let's start working Larken into it. But didn't know if he was too young. I didn't know what would we do. So man, we went and set up the back of our property on the creek, and Larken was. I had this. I bought this chair that had like a swivel mount gun lock on it.
Yep.
And I had this little Rossi Tuffy single shot 410 just clamped down. All the bolts are tight, like right at the decoy. And we're sitting there, and he's in my lap, and man, this turkey walks out finally after a couple hours, and he's like standing right at the decoy, bowed up, just being, just real majestic the way a turkey does, but he's not moving or pecking his head or real curious. And I take the gun and I kind of line it up, and Larken's in my lap, and I pop the safety off, and I'm like, all right, buddy, you should be good. And so like he looks down the barrel. I don't even remember if the gun's on my shoulder or was just kind of hanging out in limbo.
Right.
But Larken leans his little big head over and he wraps his arm around, he pulls the trigger, and that turkey just falls. And that emotion, I start screaming like a little kid. My heart's beating so loud, like I can hear it before the shot, It's the most intense moment. And turkey hunting still does that for me in a way, because there's this suspense. You see it, you hear them coming, you see it happening. And then at that exact moment, I've done everything that I knew to do. I've placed the blind. I've done the recon on where the bird's coming. I've gotten it set up. We're there. Now the bird, and it's out of my control. And I don't know if it's going to happen or not,
Right.
And when that bird fell, dude, it was the most, like, I can't, the point of me saying all this is I chase that feeling every day now.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
So like when I see
sense.
dads that are posting like their kid just killed a turkey, I know that feeling is so amazing. It's better than catching a fish or shooting a deer. I mean, like, it's just different to me. Maybe shooting a deer. I've never really, I haven't done a ton of that. But so that was hook, line, and sinker. He was 4 years old, and first turkey, we went to the little event, and he got to show his bird off. Ended up being a double bearded turkey, like big bird. He won 5th place. Got him a free shotgun, a little plaque, and different stuff. So I was like, okay, we turkey hunt now for sure.
We're pros now.
Yeah. So that was April. He was 4. That fall, he turned 5, and he shot his first deer. He shot him a 6-pointer. We had a 20 gauge with some buckshot in it. Same deal, locked in that tripod. And so now we're at this point in life where I've never killed a deer, I've never killed a turkey, and my 5-year-old's killed both. But it was kind of this theme that has been long running now is he's first. And then if it works out for me that I get to do it, then so be it. But also, it's not worth it to me. I mean, partially being immature and selfish. If I do something before him, like, he's pissed. Like, and
True.
so it's just not even worth it to me. Like,
Right.
to give him that pride and to have him go, I've killed a deer my dad never has, or I've done this my dad never has. Like, dude, you own it. You can have it.
Right.
And so that was the true start to this journey.
Okay.
And so I just love the outdoors. Like, I was getting to live these pieces of childhood that I never truly got to experience fully as a kid. I was around it. Yes, I have been fishing. I've been fishing my whole life in some way, meaning a sales rep or somebody might say, hey, you want to go offshore? Or, you go with a friend, or we used to do a lot of food events in Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd met some folks, and typically I would carry the staff members that were with me or myself. I would book a charter each year we went,
Right.
like that kind of fishing.
Right.
I knew how to do it. I had done it, but I'd never truly done it for myself, like independently. So that was a new challenge. And just like an onion, you just always a new layer to peel back. There's a new way to go about it, a bigger fish, a new new technique. So I've loved it. And then the whole content thing just kind of came along through, I watch Larken sometimes, and I think everybody can relate to this. And it's not that Larken in himself is just so special. I do think he's unique in certain ways, but everybody looks at their kid and they can just be amazed by like this little human, and you're surprised by their capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You're just surprised by them, and you're just so proud. And so in those proud moments that made you smile or made you laugh or made me laugh and smile, I would just post it and I would share it. And one thing I can say, like, Larken's not shy about being in front of a camera or having an opportunity to speak in front of somebody. It's honestly kind of when he turns on.
You can tell.
Yeah. And it's like, thankfully, now we've had a couple of podcasts, thankfully not live, but he said a couple of things that are just like, I'm like, oh my God, I wish you hadn't said that. But for the most part, he keeps it between the ditches. And so I just saw opportunity there to share more because people got fulfillment out of it. I've always been very insecure about posting stuff online. It's very kind of weird to put yourself out there. Where my safe space was always posting things on a story because I'm like 24 hours and it's gone. But like I always was really intimidated about putting that static post up there that was going to live and would it.
Well, especially your kid.
Yeah, just like, but I just didn't want to be dumb or say anything, put anything that looked cheesy or people were like, what's this guy doing? So that was a big step with some of the guys helping me with the show to just start putting stuff out there. I also didn't want to seem like a wannabe influencer, like fake, like pushing stuff. But at the same time, when you have partners that are willing to help you do stuff, and maybe a lot of people don't understand how this stuff works, but like when somebody commits to helping you support something you're doing and you sign a contract on those things, there's things that are deliverables that have to happen. They want a certain number of posts in a time frame. They want to be tagged in certain ways or to use certain things. And so I'm still dialing that part in where I want to make sure it's very genuine, because the thing about it is we didn't cold call anybody to help us with this project. It was all like somebody we already had a relationship with, or had an active like ambassadorship with, that were like, oh yeah, we'll help you with this, or hey, we'll help you, but you should call X also.
So-and-so, yeah.
Yeah. So the show thing, so that's kind of where we're at now. But to kind of back it up a little bit there to how it all kind of Larken's childhood and getting to the kind of pinnacle where we're at now. I did, and I've said a version of this about every time I've gotten to speak, but through barbecue, you know, there's barbecue and outdoor events and brands and stuff kind of intermingle a little bit. And so I'd gotten a chance to, I have, had a little bit of relationship with Yeti for about, 12 years now. But I'd met this videographer on, that's something we were doing, and one thing for me is that even like with Sam Jones Barbecue, I'm Michael Letchworth, right? That people aren't thriving to come like beat the door down to talk to me. Everybody's looking for that Sam Jones guy. So when we're at these events and I'm there kind of as a support role, helping things happen, there's also these people that are in support roles with these other companies. And I'm trying to talk to everybody, make relationships with everybody. And for no alternative reasons other than we're all standing, we got to be here for 10 hours together. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Might as well talk.
And those guys were closer to my age.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so these relationships that were just small talks and an Instagram follow 10 and 8 and 7 years ago, we're keeping up with each other. We're seeing things that are going on. And I was mowing grass at home one day and my phone rings, and my buddy Ben from Yeti, and he goes, hey man, don't you, I know you live in North Carolina near Tennessee. We got this shoot that's coming up and we really need a father and son. I thought you'd be great for it. And I'm like, well, I don't live near Tennessee, but I will drive near Tennessee in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's like, all right, cool. Let's plan for it. And then in all that stuff, I haven't been around it enough to know that things change a lot. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to get my hopes far up because, creative direction could completely change. There's a lot of things logistically that could change and the whole thing fall apart. So I was trying not to get too excited, but man, this is going to be so fun. It all worked out. And so what it was, Yeti is always coming out with a new color. And for each color, there's obviously a big marketing plan that goes behind that. And there's some of them are a little deeper in how they do videography work or photography and different things. This particular one, they wanted to do a little bit of video work. We're probably going to spend some of it off into some Father's Day ads. And so we went to just outside of Knoxville in the Smoky Mountains for 3 or 4 days. And we had to film. It was, the color was firefly. And there was this firefly phenomenon that happens in that area every year. And we were documenting around that. And it was just, we camped out like literally in tents by a creek. And part of my job too was to feed the staff. So I had a kind of a sub. Larken's role was to be like primary talent. My role was to keep everybody fed and stuff. We were doing 12, 13-hour days out there, and Larken was killing it, dude. Like he got along with everybody, but and everybody got along with him. They took time with him, and I could tell that it was something that was like nurturing and growing Larken. And I've said this one other time before, but what the impactful moment for me to know that I had to keep recreating this, and mind you, I'm a compounding emotion now. We had that turkey emotion of like what's fulfilling me, and and then we're at the hotel. We wrap the whole trip up, and so we all go get a hotel for the night, the last night before we all split up and go home. And the hotel has one of those glass elevators, and we go down to the lobby to say bye to everybody. They were getting a drink at the bar. And as we're coming back, while we're riding the elevator up, Larken's in the elevator, like that sad, like slow-mo waving at everybody, and tears are running down his face. And I liken it to that feeling when you're leaving camp and you've gotten so close to these people you didn't know.
You don't want to leave.
You know that exact emotion, right?
Yep.
Like I knew what he was feeling. I was like, dude, I got to keep this going. And so, I could go on in different tangents of everything, but
absolutely,
that was it was linking these things together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, man, I want to create this little opportunity for Larken to kind of expose Larken in a way that people may can say, hey, I don't attach to this. But ultimately, we were going to meet new people, get ourselves in positions that maybe we could be exposed to new experiences. And I'm going to get that feeling of seeing Larken do something really cool for the first time. Larken's going to get that feeling of meeting new people and forming new relationships. And while all that's happening, he's not even going to realize the network that he's being exposed to, the opportunities he's being exposed to, and his whole mindset is going to shift in the way he approaches his life and the way he goes about the rest of his life based on these situations and these strategic and intentional moments that we're creating.
Yeah.
All in the goal to help make him a better person.
Absolutely. Because you said something when we were talking a couple weeks ago. The reason why, one of the biggest reasons you're doing this stuff with him was to teach him how to build relationships in a network. Yeah. That really like stuck with me. I was like, I've never really thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's, you know, to me, it's so important. That's what I try to do. So like, why not teach your kids to do that? Like you said, in a moment where like, they don't even know what's going on. They're just having fun and meeting new people, but they turn 18. Look at everybody they know now. Look at the network that they have in their back pocket. Like, he's starting off life way ahead of all of us.
Yeah. Well, that's my thing too. It's like, it's like, I feel as being a dad, it's my responsibility to look back at where I made mistakes, to where I wish I had done different. And obviously he's got free will, but like, can I coach him and can I approach every lesson that I give him, not in a way of don't do that, is you'll be glad you didn't do that because. Correct. And like try to give a little bit. And then, so for me now, I find myself, I'm not that told you so, I got you type person, but I find myself allowing him to do certain things that I know are going to fail just so I can say, hey, you remember when I told you this and this, this? Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, sir. Like, because I'm needing him. Now I'm trying to build trust in him to want to listen to me. Mm-hmm. Like, to need to listen to me, to not be defiant, and to understand that it's, like, only going to benefit him. But I also try to teach him. We did something fun this week. You know how you have these, you have ideas. Like, you lay in bed, and, oh, it'd be cool if I did this, or I wish I did that. And then I think that's like a version of a dream or a desire. And most of the time it's too tough to follow through on. And it could be something small. And so things die. And so like, if it comes to like, maybe it's a business opportunity, but for us this week, it was as small as trying to make somebody smile. So at his school, there's this teacher. And every morning when you pull up, the way the carpool line drops off, there's like a crossing that some of the older kids, when they park in the parking lot, have to walk through. And there's music playing outside every morning. And this guy has like the stop slow sign. And every morning he comes by and he's playing this thing like it's a guitar. And we joke about him and we say stuff and not like a derogatory, like we'll say stuff about him out there, parking lot cowboy and just different stuff. And so I was dropping him off last Thursday and I'm like, dude, what if we get him I'm gonna see if I can find a guitar made of a stop sign. That's where the idea started. And where it ended was me ordering a guitar off Amazon. And then just on the back, I put a stop sign on it. So he's playing the guitar. When it's somebody, he just flips the guitar over and it says stop sign. And so, like, I'm excited. I'm out. Can I get this here, like, today? Yeah.
What's that same day delivery at?
Yeah. Wasn't possible, but I could. It was Thursday. I could get it on Friday. So we got it on Friday. We're all happy. We get the thing. And so Monday morning, we were driving through the parking lot and I've got the guitar. And I pull over and I'm like, hey, man, I got you a surprise. And he's like, what? And I hand him the guitar and he's like, no way. And he's like freaking out. I'm like, dude, you bring joy to us every day. Like, I want to bring joy to you. And it was funny because we were going turkey hunting that evening. And Larken, when I picked him up from school, he said, Dad, maybe since we did something good for somebody today, God will do us a favor and give us a turkey. And I guess we should have bought the guy a nicer guitar because we didn't get a turkey that afternoon. But so then I'm all excited yesterday morning. I'm like, dude, I want to see this guy with his guitar. He wasn't there yesterday. I'm like, dang it. But then my wife texts me today and she's like, Larken gave him a guitar pick this morning when he was going through the line. He was like the most excited guy you thought we had given him the world. So like just teaching little lessons of like doing some kind of thing that it doesn't have to be like life changing. And I think that's the same way in business too.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't have to give them $1 million bonus. Just do something to say, hey, I notice you. I care about you.
You're spot on. Spot on. Because I think a lot of people miss that, because I preach it a lot. It's the small things in life. Everybody tries to hit that home run in everything that they do. And I think and they get exhausted because they're swinging, and they feel like they're never doing anything. Well, let's start small and chip away. And, that's accomplishing things, or like you said, it's, making a difference in your life or somebody else's life. It's give them a gift. We do the same thing for our employees all the time. And a lot of people, and everybody's different too, on how they feel appreciated or what they get value out of. Some people it's money, because some people just want that bonus. They don't care what else you do. Some people do just want a phone call and say, hey, how are you doing? You good? Or somebody wants a special guitar and make them laugh and smile. And that's your job as a leader, to figure that out.
I think it's a very tough thing as a leader to figure out, because it's an important thing to figure out what drives everybody. And I think that's said a lot, and it seems very easy. But what my hardest thing, and this isn't just in business, this is in how we go about inviting somebody over for dinner, whatever that looks like, every facet of my life, is learning and accepting that not everybody views things the way I do, and is going to be as intense about it or have the expectations that I have. And so it's a little bit for both ways for me. It's like, okay, if I want to do something for Jared, man, it would mean just as much to him if I just did this little thing as if I tried to do this big thing. But also knowing that, like, money drives you, or time, or all those things, and then just using that to build the environment that they need the most. But from our friendship thing, it's like, dang, why do I put so much effort into some things that we do and then other people don't? So like, I've had to, and this is going a whole nother direction, but I've laid back so much on my social life, and I find so much of my joy in Larken, and honestly don't have much more time for anything else than that. And so it's just easier. Like, Larken's my dude, man. Yeah. I can count on him. He can count on me. Actually, I don't know that I can count on him. He leaves me hanging a lot. We went turkey hunting the other morning. He left the bullets in the side by side. What else would he do this week? He left me hanging on. He's left me hanging on a couple of things this week, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing here?
What are we doing? I thought we had a partnership here, man. You put that in my back.
But back to lessons, it was like I had this route, like, because with Larken's stomach ain't the best at 5:30 in the morning. That's whether we're fishing or we're hunting. Right. So every morning as I'm getting my stuff together, I'm like, AirPods, toilet paper. Like, I'm trying to get everything together for me and Larken. And then so I do this. Like, I nail all of it. And typically I'll forget one of them. He'll look at me like, where's the AirPods? I'm like, I ain't got it. And then I'm ill. I'm mad at myself, but I slightly take it out on him. Not slightly. I pretty much take it out on him. Right. Like, dude, like, if I got to think of everything, like, the least you can do is get AirPods for you. I've got everything, blah, 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 blah. And so the other version of that, when I'm like, so we're turkey hunting and I get the decoy set up, and it was like perfect. Like, this hen comes out, Mally, just right in our decoys. And I'm like, this is great. Maybe she'll bring this Tom right out behind her. So I lean forward and I grab the gun, and I check to make sure the bullet's in there. There's no bullet. I'm like, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, we don't have any bullets, Larken. What did you do with the bullets? Because I always put them back in my turkey vest. He looks at me, his eyes are big, and he's like, what? And they were in a side by side in his cup holder. I'm like, damn, we ain't got no bullets. So I ended up going out to get him.
It was your fault, though, wasn't
it? Yeah. And so I feel bad. But my thing with him is like, dude, I got to do all this. I'm thinking about you and this and this. The least you can do is help me out on this. And so honestly, that's our biggest lessons that we're working on with him right now is think beyond the moment, son. And maybe I'm asking too much from him and some of this stuff, but maybe I am. But if he gets it sooner, then so what?
It's life-changing.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, don't think about, do you have your shoes on right now? And that's the first thing you need to open it. Like, do you have your AirPods? And so, but yesterday morning we went to, he's like, all right, Dad, I got my AirPods. You got my AirPods? Yes. I got toilet paper. Is what he said. And I was like, he's
the most important thing.
He's like, you got bullets? And I'm like, yes. So like, you as a parent, I'm sure you react. You're ill. Your tone's bad, and then I lay there later on regretting it. Like, dang, should I have been that harsh or What if I hadn't? But then you never know that intensity, if it made the difference to trigger, okay, maybe I need, like, to them, maybe I need to think a little deeper.
Yep.
And I relate that a lot to work too. Is like, I respect and I appreciate the guys that work with us so much. And I'm not that guy who walks in and yells and screams or anything like that at all. I think it can definitely be seen when I'm ill and frustrated. But my thing is that judging that line of having that tough conversation and how to have that conversation in a way that you get the effect you need, that they don't shut down. And there's one guy that he's like my right-hand guy, and I love him so much. And we finally gotten to know each other, that I know him, that, like, I'll say things and I used to be, oh my God, I hope that didn't turn him off or make him mad or he's going to throw the flag, you know?
Right.
And now I can tell where, I'll give you an example. We had a meeting this week, and then, and so I couldn't sleep. Could not sleep the night before last. So I sent him an email at like 3 a.m. and I'm like, hey man, I feel kind of bad for some of the things how I said some of those things, or how I think some of the things I said were taken. And thank you for sticking up for them. And if these things are things that you value or respect, then I got your back on that. So I'm sorry if that's rubbed you wrong way anyway. And then he messaged me back that morning, hey, I didn't take it that way. I see what you're saying. Like, I think there's something there. I think there's definitely room to grow there.
Yeah.
Like, okay. You know, and where like sometimes where I would be, where it'd be like, I'm not listening. This is crap. These guys just don't get it. Now there's certain people that I know I can push a little bit, and they say, okay, you're right. Maybe you're right. I don't like it. I didn't like to hear it for the first 24 hours, and yeah, it pissed me off, but you're right.
Right.
And I need that too, obviously.
Me too.
I was talking to my mentor yesterday about some stuff, and he was I said, hey, don't sugarcoat it. I called you for advice. I'm not going to be mad at you.
Give it to me.
I'm not going to be mad at you. Tell me what you're thinking. So that's another thing too, that is, we're way too early in the process for Larken, but knowing kind of the three things that changed the trajectory of my life were relationships of all forms, experiences, but mentorship, and mentorship being the biggest one. I don't know who Larken's mentor will be. Larken don't know who that will be. The mentor that's in my life did not come. I didn't go looking for him. You know, he, it just kind of happened. And so I know the more people Larken exposes himself to, whatever that be, and that mentor, you know, I think that you might have a fishing mentor, you might have a business mentor, but like my true pillar person in my life, his name's John Hare. Lives in Charleston, South Carolina. John's my guy for fatherhood, for life. He's my guy I go to for those things. Because he's got an 18-year-old, well, oh my God, Jake's not 18 anymore. Jake's in his 20s. My God. He's got, you know, so he's already
been through it.
Yeah. With a son who has similar interests to Larken and things like that, you know. But then there's other people that I look to. But my thing for life is if I'm into it, I want to be around the best. And I try to find a way to earn a relationship with these people and my very first thing with anything is, how can I bring value to this person? What does that look like? How can I introduce value to prove that it's not just a handout situation that I'm trying to get?
True. And I think a lot of people mess up too, is they're afraid to introduce yourself or ask people for certain things. And that's one thing I've learned too, is that, you know, I used to think that I wasn't worth anything, or like, why would anybody give me a time of day? But I started just asking and started talking to people. And next thing you know, they're pouring into you and you're building relationships with people. And that's number one thing I see that really holds people back, is they're afraid to step out of their comfort zone and make those connections with people. And I think that's why it's so cool what you're doing with Larken. The stuff that you're teaching him, it's irreplaceable. And like you said before, sometimes you think you might be too hard. I don't think so, because he can take these experiences in two different ways that you're doing with him. Like, he can take it as a fun, I'm just hanging out with dad, doing this cool stuff, and never take it serious, and then just be a spoiled kid. Or he can take it and say, hey, dad's showing me really lessons. He's showing me work ethic. He's holding me responsible to things and showing me that, hey, we get to do all this stuff, but we got to do all this behind the scenes to make it all work. Like, so that's where you being stern and holding the line, it's going to make the difference of which way he goes. Because, like, people get opportunities all the time. I say that all the time. God hands out golden tickets to everybody. Are you willing? Were you willing to open your eyes and see it and take advantage of it, or did you throw it away?
And making sure that you're in the position to take advantage, that you're
Right.
you're ready for that opportunity. But back to the being stern thing too. I think the thing though, as any father, you see your kid do something and you see yourself in your kid, and you're like, oh, that kind of makes you proud. Then there's times where you see your kid do something that is like his confidence that is beyond me.
Right.
I'm like, dang, I'm so glad he's got that quality. I'm proud.
Right.
Like, I look up to Larken. Like, and I say that like just as serious as I can. But then there's that time where his mom asks him to do something or he does something and he responds in a smart, short-tempered way just like I do. And I'm like, that doesn't make me proud. Like, so he's watching, right? He's watching all the time.
Every single
and
thing.
He may be hitting some of my, qualities that are positive, but he's picking up these bad ones too. And so when I watch his temper at times or his reaction to things, I'm like, dang. But at the same time, like, I can't walk a perfect life all the time. And I can't, like, and if you're going, this is not an excuse, but when you go about things the way we do, and that is a lot of stuff going on with a lot of demand, and when that comes responsibility. Side story real quick. Me and my wife, my first job out of college, we went on this cruise with my boss and his wife at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm very anxious person. Like, we've got to make sure everything's right. And so we tried to be like overly anxious. And the night before the cruise ended, we went and closed out our account to make sure we were good to go. Cause I'm impatient, I'm anxious, whatever. So we're off boarding the ship the next day and we go to get scanned off or whatever that process is. I don't even remember. And like the little thing beeps and they're like, oh, you got a balance due. And I'm like, dang. So my boss is now pissed off because now we're holding him up. We're young. We haven't done something right. Well, all it was like a tip that processed late or something. We had to like close out. It was a couple of dollars. Yeah. And when I walk back up to him, he's red in the face and he's pissed off and he's like, son, fun comes with responsibility. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But like, I felt I was so pissed off because like I wasn't being irresponsible. Right. I get that saying and I can get that, but like it's so funny. So now I joke with him about it, and I've given him stuff with that like engraved on it before and everything. But to Larken, yeah, fun does come with responsibility, and opportunity and access comes with responsibility. And I take it all very serious, and maybe oftentimes I take it too serious. But dude, like we got a lot of moving parts in our life, and it takes a lot, and you've got to function at a different level if you want to keep up with it.
You do. People don't understand it, and that's why I think it's so cool. And that's why I wanted to start with Larken, because I think everything that you've done ties into that, and like that this is your grand big project of what you're doing with him and all your experiences in life. And one thing you said earlier, I think it's so cool, and that's one reason I love this show, is getting to know people. Looking from the outside, not knowing you, especially in the beginning very well, like to know like you didn't really grow up outdoors or really wasn't a hunter, like that blows your mind because of what the world you live in now. You're like, what do you mean? Like you've never done that?
Let me tell you something weird. This is my fourth summer fishing.
It's crazy. You would never think. I mean, like you're on TV, you're doing all this stuff with your son. You're like, this guy's been outdoors his whole life.
When we go after it, we go out at 100%, like hardcore. But my thing is, and here's the thing I think you could pick up and relate to too. When I commit to something, I'm in it and I obsess over it. I'm just obsessing over information and knowledge, and I reach out to mentor. I find mentors and all these kinds of things, and that shortcuts the learning curve so much. That closes the gap on so many things. And so, yeah, I may have only been fishing and stuff for 4 years, but I've put in so much time that some people hadn't even committed enough to it, because some people just go fishing just to say they're on the water. Like, I want to learn. I'm just obsessing it, and I'm still not great, and I'm here lately definitely not on the water enough to even stay on the fish or anything like that.
Yep.
But that's what I thought I had to be also, because I wanted to be known. Anything I do, I want to be known for being like good at it. And fishing was whooping my tail, man.
It'll do
But
it.
my thing was, I knew that I wanted to be, and this kind of ties back to the show too, in a way. I knew I wanted to be involved in the outdoor industry. I just didn't know what that was going to look like. But I thought the people and the things about outdoor had good character, and I think that there was good lessons to be learned. And I regret every time I go outside, it can just be walking in the woods and you see something cool that you just miss.
Yep.
And if it's fishing and it's otters playing or whatever this is, like you just would not see it in your day to day. But yeah, man, like I think that the content stuff with Larken was a way to tie it all together and not have to be a great fisherman. Like I've never claimed to be, I'm not ever giving tutorials. Now, if you want me to tell you the best way I found for gear or whatever for a kid, yeah, I've wasted a lot of money buying 5 things, so I think there's an outlet there that maybe I don't take advantage of, but like, yeah, dude, like, but the other piece is I travel a lot and I have opportunity to travel. So being into fishing and stuff, it's like I just tag on a fishing trip as much as I could.
True.
And then and so like, man, we fished all over the place. But like, it's mainly just my unhealthy, financially irresponsible obsession of anything that I'm active in. But fishing has been my thing.
Yeah.
Fishing, people will tell you that like I'm known for getting into something for a month or two and being out of it again. But like, you'll hear my friends say, "Damn, I'm surprised you're still with this fishing thing. That's weird." But I love it.
I mean, I'm the same way. It's like I'm either 0 or 100. There's no in between with me.
Mm-hmm.
See, we talked about earlier before the show. It's I'm off or I'm on. And fishing's done the exact same thing to me. It's something that grabbed me. Because my story is kind of the same. Like my younger childhood, my dad hunted a lot. Never really took us. I think my dad took me twice. I did kill my first deer with my dad. But other than that, like once we got kind of to the age to do that stuff, like some crazy things happened in our life and their life and their marriage and stuff like that. So he quit hunting and quit doing all that. So I was kind of around it, but I wasn't. I did kind of grow up watching Bill dance and stuff like that. My brother really liked the outdoors, but really didn't do a lot of it. So like we were around it, but wasn't around it. We would fish ponds around the house and stuff like that. But actually, the reason I got into fishing was my wife. I was in business for a while and literally just working and losing my mind. And she's like, "You got to find something to do." And I'm not from here, so I'm looking around like, what do I do? Like, there's nothing to do here. I like cars and stuff, but like the car scene's not crazy here. So like, what do you do? I was like, well, there's water. It's like, I like to fish as a kid. So same as you, not going to do something half-assed. Like I'm all out. So like before I even bought a fishing pole, I bought a fishing boat. Like, she's like, what are you doing? She's like, I thought you would just go to the bank and throw a lure. I was like, no, I'm going to learn how to fish. And like, I think I went out twice on the noose and didn't catch anything. I'm like, okay, this is not good. And literally got on social media and just started messaging guides and meeting like the Brad Smiths of the world, the Josh Suttons of the world, and building these friendships with them. Like you said, I mean, I want to be around the best, and that's who I'm going to learn with. Now I fish with Josh twice a month, and learn everything from the dude. Still got a long ways to go to be even on that level, but hey, if I want to learn, I want to learn it from the best. And I think we relate a lot in that way. And I think that's what just makes successful people click. So you've done all this stuff. We know the story of Larken, how it all started. Where did Fox Hollow Outdoors, like where did that come in play? Like what, like we know the years.
Yeah.
Like where in that picture did you actually open up the business and actually say, hey, I'm going to do this? And, we got other stuff to get into. You got the seasons and stuff with it too. So when did all that happen?
That was Fox Hollow. I guess in a version still is, but initially was just my outlet, my creative outlet to do something fun outside of the restaurants. Like I'm already creating seasonings and stuff that we brand and sell through the restaurant. And I have these relationships with the seasoning manufacturers and that kind of stuff. And so like cooking food, that's all core of my life. And When Larken shot his first deer, I think we may have carried that one to get processed by a local place, but maybe it was anyhow one of our first deer. We said, I want to do this myself. I want to learn how to break it down and all that kind of stuff. And as I was looking for like sausage seasons and stuff like that, I was just trying to find. I wanted something to make it a little easier. So I was like, man, I want to create a breakfast sausage seasoning for deer meat or any meat that, like 1 tablespoon per pound. And just do it that way, or that's what the measurement came out to be.
Right.
But that's where it started, and I wanted a wild game season that we could put on deer and that kind of stuff because the barbecue world was like crazy, right? There's all kinds of barbecue season. They're a dime a dozen. Felt like nobody really focused on the guy who wants to process their own meat and helping them feel comfortable because where I felt was in that moment, I was new to it. I was insecure, wasn't well versed in it. And if I could find like this easy thing that I could have confidence in to give me confidence in producing this stuff, then that was the way I was gonna go about it. So I did a breakfast sausage seasoning, salt seasoning, and a wild game seasoning. Well, I called it wild game. Now it's called the original. But it's the same stuff. So I did that, and like any idea, you think this is cool. It's cool to you. It's not cool to anybody else, you know? And so that was that. And I'll say it sometimes, like my friends in Texas have ranches and everything. They've got a logo and a name for their ranch. And I was like, well, damn, I want like a logo and name for my 83 acres. And so
They got 83,000. I got 83. I want a logo.
I'm kind of tying all this together at a time. And so I reached out to the branding company that helps us with some of our marketing stuff for the restaurant and asked them if they'd help me create a logo. And I started there. And then I had a relationship with a girl who's very talented in Charles. Her name's Bree Drake. And Bree had made a post that she had some artwork that she was looking to sell, like some logo design stuff she was looking to sell. And so I started looking through the file that she had, and I saw a version of what is now our Fox Hollow logo. And I was like, oh, Bree, I love this, but can we change this? Can we do that? And so when I did that, I was really excited about it. I'm like, oh, people are going to love this redfish with antlers. Like, this is going to be awesome. So I got T-shirts made and hats made for myself, but also it's like, I'll sell them. And dude, this stuff just doesn't, like, nobody, it's so crazy because when you're starting out and even like it's been really cool to see some of the people that support me, but friends that I wouldn't expect.
Absolutely.
But then there's a lot of times like you just don't get supported a lot, and it's tough. And I don't hold that against anybody, but you don't, and it's tough. And you'll find that you get supported quicker and more from strangers afar than up close. Yeah. And it's awkward for me too, because when my friends are like, hey, like, oh, you gotta let me get one of those hats. Well, that's cool when you're a big company and it can be seen as a marketing thing, and it's like, okay, cool. But when you're a small company, and the way I look at everything like a business, right? I may have like it may not cause me not to get my mortgage if I give you this hat, but Fox Hollow as an entity isn't thriving.
Yeah.
So if I give away everything that I get, then I don't have, number one, I don't have anything to sell, and I've got to re-up inventory again, buy another 48 or 72 or 144, whatever that is.
And that stuff ain't cheap.
Yeah. So like I can't really afford to get that stuff away. So it's like, it's so funny because some people, I got to have me one of that. I'm like, well, website's on my thing. Like
$35.
Because you know how special, like how good it feels when I get that Shopify cash register ding and I roll over and I'm like, oh man, Jared just bought something for me. That's crazy. And I really appreciate that. And I bought some lures from the Trout Trigger guy recently. And just because I'd seen them, I liked them. And I try to support like small businesses.
Me too.
And I think that people in the local fish community can say that. I try to support the guides, rod makers, bait makers, anybody. I see like a small business follow me, I'll just go buy something from them, you know, and just to try to support. But Trout Triggers, they sent me a handwritten letter about our show and about stuff with Larken, and that was cool. So Fox Hollow was that. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to set up at this outdoor expo that they had in Greenville a couple years ago. And it was spring, and I had like new turkey logo, or it's going to be like February. So I got like turkey. I got Bree to make me a turkey logo. I got turkey T-shirts, and like we're going to kill it. This merch is cool. It's new. We're going to sell it. And everybody at that thing bought fishing stuff. Nobody cared about it. Now I did sell a decent little amount of seasoning, but it was like fishing. I'm like, okay. Well, so C.A. Richardson from Flat Class University, he's like my Bill Dance. He was the person I assumed or consumed content from. And him and I built a friendship. But he had told me before, like when Mirror Lure, that you can, if you buy 60 of them, they'll let them design. You can design whatever you want. It's not proprietary to you. You like them, somebody else can go buy the same stuff. But
Right.
so I started getting Fox Hollow Customs mirror lures done in preparation for the Belhaven Trout Festival and for what would be the next outdoor expo. And so I got my hand in the tackle, and then I started like pushing some of my own soft plastics and airbrushing my own top waters. And I realized really quickly that there's not enough margin for me to buy those. There was enough margin for me to buy things from Mirror Lure and then resell them to a shop. There was barely enough margin for me to buy them and then sell them.
Right.
Way too much time involved in the airbrush and stuff for what I had to be able to commit to it. So I realized, okay, Fox Hollow is not going to be this kind of little curated brand of whatever. And I was like, I think it's just like, but Larken loved to get up, set up and sell at these things. So like, I'm just going to hold the inventory. The website was still live. When it sells, it'll sell.
Right.
And it's just going to be this little fun brand that until whatever. But I was honestly just kind of letting it die off. And then last summer when I had this idea, okay, I'm going to do like this video profile on Larken, kind of me and Larken, but mainly Larken. So maybe he can get some more of those Yeti type opportunities. When I did that, the production team that we hired from Florida, Slateral Media, is actually CA's son. They kind of said, would you be interested in doing a show? Like maybe we could help you, pull it together, and like, I can help you with if you get some sponsorships and some support, we can help you with the deliverables outside of the show to kind of make it worth their while and everything. And we started that thing. I was like, what do we call the show? And I was trying to think, and then I already had Fox Hollow Outdoors. It was already an LLC. I already had all the stuff in place. I already had merch. I already had logo. I already had website. So that was our jump off point.
Cool.
Just to call it Fox Hollow Outdoors. And so now that is, that's what it is. I've kind of rebranded and added a couple of seasonings to it. And we're still kind of dialing in how Fox Hollow Outdoors is delivered. What I know is that cooking has to be a component of it because that is kind of my core identity. I think that's my credibility. I think that's where I come from. But moving forward, it'll be this thing where Larken and I are learning and experiencing new things, and we're cooking it. It doesn't always have to be a catch and cook or a kill and cook, but like we're just exploring food traditions and learning how to cook things as we experience them together and travel. It's just going to be this outlet that lifestyle sounds a bit like a broad thing, but it truly is. It's our lifestyle brand, and our lifestyle is outdoors, cooking, and travel. So that's what Fox Hollow's turned into. And then so the whole merchandise, any apparel is just supporting of the brand. But the driving force, I still would like it to get back to those seasonings to say, hey, this is quality stuff. This isn't some co-packed stuff that somebody just put their brand on.
Right.
This is strategically designed for its intended purpose. It's coming from a place of somebody that you may not have heard of Fox Hollow Outdoors, but there's a lot of credibility in what I've been able to do food-wise. Otherwise, as far as like, I know barbecue seasonings. I know, you know what I'm saying? So it's that. These seasonings that you can use because everybody loves a good seasoning, whether they're outdoorsmen or they're not. And everything that we do ends up coming circled back into somehow going on our next adventure. It might as well be a nonprofit organization. But and then it's a platform for Larken to have fun, for people to be entertained by him and his little antics.
Yeah. And I know we talked before that you're building it for him, which is awesome. So you run multiple businesses. Sam Jones Barbecue.
Yep.
Fox Hollow. And I know you do something with your wife also, right?
Yeah. So my wife has she has a couple of wellness and aesthetic clinics. Alive Wellness. She got a location in Greenville, Tarboro, and Belhaven.
Okay.
But then we also have a Hot Works franchise in Winterville, right behind the restaurant in the Lowe's Food Shopping Center. Never thought I would be in the fitness industry. Matter of fact, when my wife brought it up as an idea, I thought it was dumb. And then I was like, okay, maybe this is our way to like spend time together and have a business together. And very quickly, she exited the we had like a weekly phone call with corporate as we were going through the franchising process. And after about the first week, she never made another call. And I'm like, okay, well, this just became my project. Then I got mad. I was resentful. But it is because what happens with Michael and his jacked up personality is whenever I'm intimidated, whenever I'm scared or insecure, I act out, you know, and I get frustrated, I get mad. And so, but the Hot Works thing has been pretty cool. That was a really good opportunity for me to learn a different way of business.
Yep.
Everything with Sam Jones Barbecue is my problem. It's my thing that I've got to find a solution for. It's my ideas from the marketing side of things or what we're going to do. Everything's like, there's no playbook. I have to write the playbook, and it's every evolving playbook, right?
Thing. Yep.
The cool thing, this corporate deal is like, they're just pushing me what I'm supposed to do. All right, cool. You want me to hang it there? I'll hang it there. You know, why don't you do this? Ain't my deal. I'm just here to take their vision and optimize it. And so that's been a really fun thing to kind of hope she's going to throw that in my face that I just said that out loud. But it has been,
sorry.
Yeah, it has been fun to do and see.
Yeah.
A whole new way of staffing, a whole new way of business operations. So as you start looking, okay, well, I run this way, this takes that, you start to realize where you want to be at and what was possible. Because the number one, I never started my life wanting to be an entrepreneur. And there's nothing wrong with not being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely
but I
not.
thought my job was, my parents had normal 9-to-5 job. Well, my dad was in the funeral business, so it was kind of, sometimes it was a 5 to 9, like 9 a.m. But hey, I just thought I was gonna. My true goal was to work in commercial construction or potentially work with like city government or something, so I could have like strong benefits. And that was what the people that were around me that I looked up to, and that when I looked at their life, I'm like, oh, that seems cool. I want that. I want what they've got. That was my pathway to do that. And then the barbecue business became about unexpectedly, because Skylight Inn in Aden was my high school and college job. And when Samuel made the decision to open up Sam Jones Barbecue, he called me and offered me the opportunity to be his partner in that. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all, in good and bad ways, because it was the most awful thing I've ever done for a handful of years. And for the first 150 days was awful. So now it's just trying to figure out how to optimize, because like I'm never satisfied. I'm never settled. I just want more and figure out more.
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It is. I deal with it every day. It's torture. You look back on it, and I try to do that a lot. As I try to look back on my life and try to look at what I have accomplished, because I can get lost and realize I haven't done anything. So I try to really take time to look back and say, I'm living a life that I dreamt about 15 years ago. So don't be too hard on yourself. But I've always been that way, because like my parents the same way. It was 9 to 5. My dad did open up a business, later on in my life. So, but it wasn't much influence to me when it come to mentoring me or how wanting me to be an entrepreneur. I just always knew I wanted more. And I think a lot of that come from, when I was 18, I moved out. We lived out in Dublin and stuff in the country outside of Raleigh. I moved out. I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be around here anymore. So I never lived in the city before. I went and got me an apartment with my best friend downtown Raleigh. And, started working at a gym, Gold's Gym in Raleigh, North Hills,
okay,
where all the rich people go. And same thing with me is like I forced myself into that world of what's possible, because growing up, I wasn't told any of that stuff was possible. I just started getting around these people, walking in a gym in the morning, and you walk by a Porsche, you walk by a Corvette, you walk by all these cool things. You go inside and you see their watches on their wrist, and you see how they're dressed, and you start talking. And what do? And you're like, it's no grand scheme or any like crazy story that they tell you, like, I just do this. And you're like, so it is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you do to do that? Yeah, I own a couple restaurants in town. Oh, okay. How'd you do that? Oh, I met so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what opened my eyes to the world. And like, it drives me crazy because like I think there's different types of people. And I always say that, like, some people can walk right by that Porsche and not think anything about it.
Yeah.
Or not even get their attention. Then there's a type of person that can walk by it and say, well, that's cool, that's great, I would love to have that, but that's just not in my cards. Or it's that type of person that walks by it and says, I'm going to have one day.
Mm-hmm.
That's mine. And it's just motivation. Like, I drive my wife crazy because we'll go to a resort and, like, I'm not even able to enjoy it because I'm looking around and say, like, how can I build me one? Like, yeah. I don't want to rent to come here. Like, I want to own the place on here and, like, come work here when I'm visiting and I'm working. That's how my mind works.
Well, so I find myself doing that on a much smaller scale when I see somebody that has, from a branding standpoint or a product, it's like, okay, if they're not truly producing that themselves, then I can do it too, or I can go get it or whatever. And so that's part of the stuff, like I'm learning and being able to teach. But the other thing, and helping to show Larken is that, like, you want something cool, that thing that might be out of reach. Well, buddy, it's not always just as simple as having a W-2 income and then going and purchasing that thing. What if you were able to purchase that thing and turn it into a business? Absolutely. And now help let it pay for itself, or have something that you're already doing fall under the realm of that and it kind of help with it. And so,
so
like,
you teach him the good stuff.
Yeah. Like, if if you like sport fishing, then maybe you should look at, my mind goes to, like, okay, how do I buy a sport fishing boat and let it operate as a charter boat, and then I use it when I can? Because I'm definitely not, and that's not one of my dreams. It's just an example I'm thinking of, because, like, the thought of just having a charter boat and a captain and using it as a completely private thing, that's a whole nother level, but just trying to, but that's the torture of turning everything pleasure into a business. And then it's like, but I think I'm starting to understand that's just how I'm going to work. And that is my pleasure. Yeah. I don't like to sit still. I cannot sit down and watch. It has to be a very captivating show for me to even lay in bed and watch it. My mind just races and races and races all the time. And it's absolute torture. And I don't pray enough, but when I do pray, I'm just, please find me a way to be content. Can I just be happy? Can I just, but
there's a big but.
When you bite off this life of business, it's something that you've got to keep feeding. You don't get to just be content, because when you get content, then everybody around you they're ready to move on. If you stop, everything else stops and it dies. So if you like being content, this probably isn't the life for you. I'm starting to realize.
It's not. If you're like to be content and comfortable, don't.
And then you keep growing these things with things in your life that you want. Well, then it just takes more to maintain those things. So you get yourself in this wheel. But I've had, I have a conversation with my wife, and I was like, what if we just stopped? Mm-hmm. Like, what would it look like if we just, got rid of this, stopped doing that, and she's like, well, then you'd be miserable.
You would.
Yeah. So, like, it's just a vicious cycle. So you just have to accept the fact that this is it. Stop. There's sacrifice with everything, and this is the sacrifice. Is I'm not going to sit down and enjoy TV shows, and I'm not going to, like, it's just what it is. But I think that when you have those realization moments in anything you're doing, it can totally shift your perspective and help you enjoy and maintain whatever you're on. My mentor told me one day, I was asking him, like, hey, you got multiple restaurants. Like, how do you sleep good at night knowing that restaurant C's underperforming, or, your manager Jared's not doing good or doing what you got to do? And, and it was that conversation. And I was like, I'm just so tired of everything going wrong. Like, I don't get to do anything. All I do every day is just, like, somebody complaining or blah, blah, blah. And he was like, son, you've got it all wrong. You ain't in the restaurant business. You're in the problem-solving business. Today's going to have its set of problems. Tomorrow's going to have its set of problems. And back to your other question about how do I sleep good knowing that this one's not doing good, I have a plan in place. I have to know that I've got a plan in place and I'm seeing that plan out. And not everything's going to fire at 100 at all times. But, and everybody's problems of priority to them. And you've just got to strategically align those things and know there's a plan in place. But understand knowing that, like, you're not going to outrun the problems. And I think that's what I tried to do for so long is I thought that if I didn't get it to a place there wasn't anything going wrong and everybody wasn't happy, then I wasn't like, the goal was everybody's got to be happy, nothing's going wrong. And it's just impossible to perfect that. So I just had to embrace that, like, you know, okay, this is today's problems and I'll figure that one out tomorrow. You know,
It is.
I had my second longest tenured employee. No, I'm talking about, it's not the second longest tenured. It is my longest tenured manager in Sam Jones Barbecue. Put in his notice yesterday.
That hurts.
Yeah, and he's going to do a different career that actually stole him from that career when he took the job at Sam Jones Barbecue. And, you know, Michael, maybe 2 years ago, for sure, longer than that ago, wouldn't have slept last night. Just would have tossed into what am I going to do? How do we do it? But, you know, thankfully we got a supportive team around us. And, you know, the thing that sucks too is, like, I think it's easier because some of those problems don't fall on me the way they used to because it affects more people. But at the same time, you know, I see opportunity in these types of moments instead of, like, devastation. So growing and understand, okay, well, that's today's problem is we got to sort through how we're going to, what are the next 4 weeks going to look like and what's going to look like moving forward. The opportunity piece I see is now there's other people that have been with us for a while and committed a lot, and now it's their opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I think a lot of it goes back to, are you doing what you're meant to be doing? If that's the case, God ain't going to give you nothing you can't handle. He knows you can handle it. It's done. It's already done. And you just have to continue to plow through. A good story that I have, you know, as we've grown our business, you know, I've got a lot of criticism for employees and stuff that, you know, in their eyes, I hold on too tight and I want to make sure everything's perfect, and stuff like that. Not in a bad way, more of a healthy way, because, you know, obviously we keep our employees and they're happy, so they wasn't too unhappy about it all. But recently, in the last 6 months, I've stepped out a whole lot, and let things kind of, we talked about earlier, blossom in a different way. And I had an employee come to me a couple weeks ago and said, man, you should have done that 2 years ago. You just seem so much happier. You're a little bit less stress-free, and you're able to be creative again because you're not just consumed in the daily. So you're really helping the business because you're getting creative again. You're opening up other business. You're doing all this stuff. And I'm like, maybe I should. But at that time, just like before, you said 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been upset, but you've made the plan and the systems to get to where you are today. Because, like, I told him, I was like, well, 2 years ago, me stepping away looked totally different than it does today. I've built the system, put the people in place to hold it. Because, like, what did we say earlier? When you step out, it comes a whole nother set of problems because things aren't getting done the way you want to get done. Maybe stuff's been sent to customers or vendors that shouldn't have been before you got a chance to fix it. And at that time, I don't think I built a business strong enough and relationships strong enough to hold it if you made that mistake. You know, so, like, in my mind 2 years ago, I wasn't able to do that. You know, it all looks good. So, like, what I'm trying to get to is just what you said. It's like you can sleep good at nights because you have a plan, and every day you're tackling a plan and building a plan. So each day and each year just looks different on the decisions and how you act.
Well, when you step away, my biggest thing about stepping away is, like, fearing that the people see that as abandonment or not caring or whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's really, so for me, I wish I could say that I had this vision and I stepped away from the day-to-day inner workings of the restaurant because it was my leadership plan all along. But that's not what it was at all. What it was, well, early on, I think that I was so resentful towards the restaurant because it was so overwhelming, because I didn't know anything about operating a restaurant. We just opened a
Right.
restaurant and it was just wide open. We didn't, I'm standing leading a staff and training, and I don't even know, I've never even worked on a restaurant line before, and I'm about to open my own restaurant. I've never even worked a drive-through before, and we got a drive-through. Like, there's a lot there, right? And another mentor said one time that sales will meet competency.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched that happen. We opened up, everybody was excited, and we didn't do a good job. Some people had a good experience, some people didn't. And we had to, what I felt like, and I think after there's a honeymoon period for everything, but things dropped off. And then it was like trying to regroup and things. But I'd been there so much early on, long days, just a crazy amount of responsibility, that you start to be like, I just can't today. And you see that problem and you're like, God knows I've already solved 100. I don't want 101.
I don't got time.
I'm going to ignore that one.
Right.
And you make those little decisions, and that stuff snowballs. And then a year later, when you realize those things that you've looked over have become problems, bigger problems, they're even harder to solve. And it's just like, it's hard lessons, right? So I was so overwhelmed that I do not, what can I do in this business but not be like run the day-to-day shift? And my partner was traveling a lot, doing things on the road, and I traveled more than I should with him, looking back on it now from those very crucial days and early in the business. But during that process, I had a guy that's still with me today, and he kind of started stepping up and taking bricks out of my bag. And when he came on board, not to say that nobody else wasn't helping, but he was like my guy. He was like, I got you. You don't like doing that, I don't mind doing it. And we just locked hands. He was like my partner. Every day we would open up the restaurant, we would work side by side, and we would just attack the day together. And it felt so comforting to have somebody by my side. So that made it a little bit more bearable. But what was happening was he was kind of getting groomed to take my role there, because then Raleigh came about, right? And then, so I was focused on growing Raleigh. Well, then Raleigh needed more of my time as it got going. So Winterville had to stand on its own. Well, then then Raleigh's gotten to the place where it doesn't need as much of my time. So now, I've got free time and I've had to step away, and it's really weird when you're not needed in the ways that you used to be needed. So like, what do you do? You're just like, what do I do with my hands? Like, it's awkward.
It's very awkward.
And so I find myself trying to do things and contribute in a way that, hey, I'm here, or I was able to do that for you. It's very unfulfilling. I'm probably at the most unfulfilling point of my business journey, especially at least in the restaurant business side of things, because something that you used to be needed so much for in the ways that you used to even be frustrated with it, that you were needed for it, you didn't realize the purpose that those things gave you. And now it's like, almost like you just need the people around you to be like, hey man, we're good. Like, I don't hold it against you. Like, we got this. This is our role. You got yours. Just make sure, make sure payroll keeps happening. Like, whatever it is, like I don't know where my value truly lies for people anymore sometimes.
Yep. And it's tough. And I think a lot of people like us, people that thrive for success, we complain about all the problems and the stress and stuff, but we also thrive off of the grind and the chaos.
But I need validation.
Yeah, me too. And like you just said, it's good. Like, just somebody come to me and say, hey man, we're good. The business is good. I'm happy for you. I'll let you know if I need you, but you do you, man. Like you said, just make sure like the money's where it needs to be and everything's paid.
Well, because I think small town crap talking environments, there's a whole lot of that. It must be nice type stuff.
Ooh. And
I don't like people to feel like that they're doing I have a hard time processing and accepting, okay, this is their role. This is their role and their responsibilities. By them doing these roles and responsibilities, that's not my role and responsibilities anymore. They're not doing me a favor by doing their job. They're doing them, their family. This is what they chose to do.
Amen.
They accepted the responsibility. It's very hard for me to accept that. But it's also very hard for me to look back and realize that although where I'm at in my life was not a planned goal. It didn't come by mistake, right? There was still work ethic. There was still decision making. There was still how I showed up in every moment before today helped allow the opportunities for today. But it's still very hard to realize and accept because my mind is still wired to be that I'm not producing and I'm not providing if I'm not hands-on and I'm not in the trenches doing it. Very, very hard. It's very, very insecure with life and role currently.
Yeah, me too. And I struggle with it. And like you said, what do you do with your hands? I don't know sometimes what, because like sometimes like you don't want to overstep. I deal with that a lot too, because you put people in place and it makes them feel a certain way if you do overstep them. So like it's tough, man. And like business and life is just seasons after season. Everything's constantly changing. And it's kind of cool. We think a lot alike. You said something that really grabbed my attention because I believe the exact same thing and I just never heard it that way. Ownership before equity, relationships and mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that. I know what you mean, but explain it to the audience of what you're talking about. Like, what does ownership before equity mean? What is that?
So, in today's world, everybody, thinks they're owed everything in a way. I see that often, that people think they're like, because you have something, they should have it too. There's also this thought process that like it's hard for what I want to say here. I guess I'll get back to explain. Ownership before equity I just mean that like if you work really hard and even if you don't get a piece of the ownership of what you're doing now, you're going to earn experience and you're going to earn relevance to be able to have that opportunity somewhere else possibly.
Right.
But what I mean by that is that if you wait to act the part until you get the role, then you're doing it all wrong. Because everybody in business is looking like right now, I just told you one of my key guys is moving on to a different career. Well, somebody in that company had the opportunity to show up every day. And ownership doesn't mean necessarily equity. I mean ownership of the job, ownership of the whatever. Maybe ownership, but treat it like you're an owner. But like everybody has an opportunity, that's a no-brainer. That guy, he's my guy. There's no question who I'm gonna promote next, and that's in how you show up and present your own personal problems, all those things. And so ownership before equity for me just means like prove you want it, prove you're about it. Take ownership of something, do the extra thing, whether it's the extra step, the extra 5 minutes, do that and the opportunity will come. And as I look back, I think that's how I got the opportunity I did, because of how I carried myself when I was at Skylight Inn all those times. And it was Samuel has said it many times, he was advised to find a partner, and in his mind, there was no question who that was going to be. And so that was from having ownership, before equity. But also like when people want a piece of everything, you got to show why you deserve it, why it's worth it. And outside of that comment, I think that's a lot of things too. People's like, well, I do this, I think I deserve that. Everything it is, whether you're talking to another company about a partnership or whatever, how are you going to bring value? What does that value look like on the backside to make the equity worth it? So that's I guess I kind of lost track of where I was trying to go with that to start with, but the simple terms is how it's just, dress for the job you want, I guess.
And whatever you're doing, be 100 at it.
Yeah.
One saying I like to say, if you're a fry cook, be 100 a fry cook, and you won't be a fry cook very long.
That's right. But also because and I've tried to tell people this before too, is like, don't look at just because say you're a fry cook in college.
Right.
All right. Well, you're probably, if you're in school for something else, you're probably not going to school to be a fry cook, and that's fine. But somebody might ask me how you were as a fry cook, and the things that I'm going to tell them has nothing to do with cooking fries and fried food. It's going to be your attitude, your dependability, all these things. Did you go above and beyond in that job? Because all these character traits are just a reflection of how you handle whatever it is you're doing, not that.
Yeah, and that's what being 100 is.
Yeah.
It's not like you said. It's not maybe cooking the best French fry ever made. It's how are you showing up, on a daily basis to do your job, and what extra are you putting in? That's what I look for. I have 3 people in my business that are my go-tos. Couldn't do it without them, but they've come in at certain times in the business life where I needed that piece. My wife was one. I've been very blessed. I've never had to worry about the back office. I talk to other people in our kind of industry, blue collar industry, that's their biggest struggle is them dealing with the books. I've never had to do with it. After that, we hired her sister. She stepped in. So I've never, ever had to worry about the back office. My money is taken care of. Things are taken care of. I've always had to focus on operations. Second piece was I was in a daily grind on the road all the time, still running service calls myself. When we first started, customers called me all the time. I noticed that I might be heated or aggravated, and I might come off to a customer the wrong way because I shouldn't be answering the phone. So I hired somebody to take that off my plate, customer relations. That came out. And then I noticed, okay, well, now I'm busy with all this other stuff. I got technicians calling me all the time, and I'm biting their head off because I'm stressed out and I shouldn't be biting their head off. So I hired somebody to come in to manage my technicians. They're my 3 go-tos. And they allow me to free up and do other things because they took that off my plate. And they also, those 3 people just keep on taking, all right, you don't want to do that no more, and you shouldn't do that no more. So I got you. I'm going to go into something real quick that really means a lot to me, and it's something that men hate to talk about.
Okay.
Mental health. Because it's something that I've struggled with from a kid. Really, as a kid, you really don't know what's going on. You just you don't feel right, and sometimes you don't fit in or things just aren't right. But getting into business, it's kind of hard to explain because, like, at first you said you're addicted to the grind or whatever. So, like, the first 3 years, man, I probably felt better than I ever did my whole life because I was so distracted. I wasn't worried about too much. I was just grinding, getting customers, fixing things, hiring people, just in the daily, just not really worried about much, just grow. And then things kind of just, like you said, kind of, you have a honeymoon, it kind of settles out. I don't know, it was about 4 years ago, driving down a road, straight up panic attack. I didn't know what in the world it was. I thought I was having a heart attack. Pulled over to Bojangles parking lot. Couldn't even speak to my wife. I was able to call her, but all it was is next thing I know, she called 911. My heart rate was like 220 when they got there. So bad I couldn't even swallow or breathe or talk or anything. I've had 4 or 5 since. Learned to deal with that. But ever since then, I've just been off mentally, health-wise, anxiety-wise. Like it does something to you. I know you mentioned a little bit about that. So I wanted to dive into, because I think we all deal with it, especially men. I think men deal with it a lot, and they don't talk about it, so it gets a lot worse because they're not open up about it. When did you first notice it with you, with anxiety or?
Yeah. So for me, thankfully, it's never been like a pride issue about talking about it or anything. I think what gave me so much was being in business, and there's just certain things that you can't discuss with, you can't vent down all the time. There's not harm in that, and I probably do that sometimes more than I should. But you can't vent down, and then there's just this overwhelming responsibility of the decisions that you may make and how they're going to affect it. And then just there were some things like the way some things that were happening and some decisions that were possibly being made that I felt that I was ultimately going to have to answer for.
Correct.
And it was overwhelming to me. And then in that moment, because of leadership and everything, and business ownership is a very, very lonely place. I had, my marriage sucked too, and pretty much because I felt lonely, and when I was home, I wasn't present. I was present in my problems, not in whatever.
Preach.
And so I couldn't do anything right there. I felt like I felt like very misunderstood. I felt it was just not fun. Like nothing was like life sucked. It was not very fulfilling. And at the time, if you knew me a few years ago, you know Michael Letchworth loves nothing more than a natural light. I love a cold beer, and I still do. They're just Michelob Ultra NAs now. But I finally, my wife was like, "You need mood stabilizers, and you've got to like your anger or whatever. Like this is ridiculous." And I'm like, I don't think like I just feel misunderstood and I'm overwhelmed. Like if I could just, I honestly felt like at that time, if I could just be accepted and supported a little bit, I'd probably be okay.
Right.
But I didn't know how to manage any of it. And I went to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said, I don't think you need medicine. I just think you need to change some of your habits. I think you need to reduce or eliminate alcohol. I think you should consider exercising and practice mindfulness. And I was like, dude, that's not the answer I need. What I need I need you to tell me that you're calling Walgreens and you're getting whatever prescription you think I need, that my wife thinks I need, so we can just put this to bed.
Right.
I'm not here for life changing habits forming things. I'm here for meds. Give them to me. And I wish it was that easy too,
Right.
And so I left there, and I got to tell my wife, and I'm like, he says I don't need medicine. I need to do these. That you weren't honest with him. You didn't, I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. Like I don't know what to tell you. So life went on the way it was, and was still dealing with these things, and challenges with the business. Mind you, so COVID. This was all in the middle of COVID, by the way. So this was like 2021. And so I was just overwhelmed, dude. Did not know how to handle it. Wasn't emotionally or mentally maybe mature enough, or maybe it was just my first lesson in some of these challenges. But so finally, it was December 31st of 2022, and I was just overwhelmed. I was in my deer stand. Larken and I had been squirrel hunting that morning, I think maybe. And I was in my deer stand, and I was like, dude, I'm just going to, like, it would be real easy right now just to take this rifle. And like, I don't have to worry anymore. And as I sat there, I started going through like, all right, how do I make sure Larken knows I love him? And how can I strategically have things to be left for him? And then I was like, so why would you do something like this in this place that it's like sacred ground to you? In this very spot was where you have so many memories. Like, why would you do that? And so I knew in that moment I had reached a point that I'd never thought I could get to. And so it just so happened in the timing of it. This wasn't like a New Year's resolution thing. I was like, this is scary, and I guess I'm going to listen back to this therapist thing. Because what he was telling me was that my anxiety and my depression, that alcohol helped fuel those things a lot. And I didn't see how that was, because in my mind, I just like to drink beer. It didn't present accountability issues in any area of my life. It wasn't like a thing that I got angry on or anything like that. It was just a routine. It was part of my routine. And so I gave up. I stopped drinking because I just like, it was, dude, when I tell you I was at rock bottom, like I was at rock bottom, like it was, and when you get to that point and you're willing to go that far, problems become a little smaller too. It's like,
they do.
Okay. All right. Let me at least try this. I can always go back to plan A.
Yep.
And so I stopped drinking, and that's not an instant gratification. That's not like you don't just say you get 1 week out and it's different. And I don't know what the day mark was, but I committed to it. And it wasn't intentionally to be like a long-term thing possibly, but I just knew I had to do something. And I was that committed to something changing, because I was going to not have anything that I had anyhow if I kept on down that path.
Right.
Because of So, man, finally, my head started clearing up, and I was like, oh, I feel better. Like I'm more clear. That problem that just completely overwhelmed me, or would have, I found myself solving things and working through challenges in a way that I couldn't imagine before, because I would have stirred on them all night. I would have been overwhelmed by them. And I finally found a way to take that plan that I talked about earlier and put it in place and live with it. My head started just becoming way more clear, and I viewed life so much differently. So this was 2023. Larken was 5 years old. So he had just shot his first turkey, April of 2022, shot his first deer, winter of 2022. And so here I am coming off this where the majority of my habits and my daily routines were wrapped around, social drinking and those kinds of things. And with a clear head, I started realizing too, well, that may not be the best example for him to see all the time. But my head was clear, dude, and I started feeling better. I did start exercising finally in 2024.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot mentally. That served a really great purpose in my life. What exercise did for me was show me what I'm capable of. It helped me push the limits and do things that I didn't think I could do. It helped me reevaluate how I look at something. Like, a chore of hauling Christmas stuff upstairs seemed like avoidance, but it's like, or I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and go carry heavy sandbags and uphill and do this kind of stuff. This is just an opportunity. This isn't a chore. And so just really trying to read things. But that mental health piece is really what ignited I was always, like, Larken's always been my number one, but it ignited how I was able to go about spending my time with him.
More intentional.
That was how I got into fishing.
Yeah.
Because he was watching Carolina All Out again. He said he wanted to go bass fishing. And so I'd reached out to Scooter Lilly to go bass fishing, and it didn't work out. The bass weren't biting good or something. He asked if I went for like a mixed bag. And so we went out of Aurora and we went like fishing in the river. And I had some memories. My grandma had a trailer at the river until I was like 5 or 6, or I went with her until I was like 5 or 6. And so I remember catching croaker, and I remember like it started like bring back these memories.
Right.
And I was like, well, dang, man, like I don't drink anymore, feeling better. Like, what? I want to be outside. How are we going to go about this? Let's just start fishing. And so that's what was the real kickoff was. And that was where that passion lied. And then I didn't know anything about it. So I just started hiring guides. And I don't have a network of friends that I fish with. Like, I don't have a friend that like calls me up. If I generally go fishing with somebody, I got to pay them unless it's me and Larken.
Yeah.
But me and Larken fishing together a lot, and it became our little thing to learn together. I still remember the first day we caught a fish on our own. I remember the first day we caught our own 2-man limit together. Like, I remember all these things. But back to the mental health piece is that I did find that even though alcohol did not have an apparent problem in my life, it was a problem in my life.
It was.
It affected my anxiety. It affected my depression. And it's a poison to me because I'm obsessive, right? Because when I come home, I'm not going to drink just one. I'm going to drink a handful of them. And my mind stayed in this fog all the time. Right. And so I finally got to experience life with clarity. I guess I started drinking beer here and there, like 18, 19, but I'd drink like 2 or 3 Bud Lights. And then it was really in college where I started that. If I'm sitting around, if I'm doing something, it's just one after another. And so in a way, I was never truly clear-minded in my whole adult life. And so for the very first time at age, whatever that was, 35, I'm now getting to see life through a clear lens, make decisions over a clear lens. And it's crazy because that's when opportunities started happening for me. And,
it is. And
I don't know that if it's because I was just able to, I don't know why. I don't know what the singular thing was, but that's when my life changed.
Yep.
And I knew that, and then as I'd see Larken do stuff and I'm like, dude, I almost missed this. And you just like, it's a different thought process. Like everything's different now.
Yep.
And I regret to have gotten there, but I'm thankful I did because it changed my life, man. Like I don't, I drink NA beers because I still love the flavor, man. I love the ritual.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. But man, it's just not for me.
No.
And it's not hard for me
Yeah.
to not. Like, the thing for me is like, I really truly feel like, and I know some people that there's an addiction to alcohol, and I'm not making light of that at all. For me, thankfully, because of my personality, I think I've kind of rationalized it more. It was more of a habit and more of a routine.
That's the things with me is habits.
And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful that it was able to be that role in my life. But it's one of those things where, like, it's not people are like, do you mind if I drink around? I'm like, dude, go at it. I'm so thankful that you're able to have a beer and it not mess with your head. But what's between my ears, I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Ever.
I could throw anything away. We talked about that earlier. I mean, I smoked for 12 years and threw them out the truck one day and never smoked another one.
Mm-hmm.
My brother struggled with it daily. It's just everybody's different. Like I said, it was more of me a habit. I started smoking because I worked in served tables.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was the way to take a break.
I got jealous of everybody getting a break. And I'm like, what the hell do you get? I mean, I get like 1. You get like 10 because you get a smoke break. I'm like, well, I'll just start smoking.
And it was a way to rationalize time.
Yeah.
You get out there and instead of rushing back in, it's like, my break's going to be as long as this is.
Yep. And then when I started doing this type of business on the road a lot, I mean, you get bored driving. It felt good to smoke a cigarette because it was something to do. It kept you awake. You know, even back then it tasted good. So it was something. But I want to touch on something real quick. Is our story is so much alike, man. It's crazy. It's actually kind of scary. But when I was 19, I found myself with a shotgun in my mouth. And I decided, like, thank God I didn't do it. I got into fitness really heavy, really, really heavy. I actually did some bodybuilding stuff in my earlier years. But you were talking about fitness, man. You know, I tell that to people all the time. And if you want to change your life and you don't know where to start, first thing is go to God. Second is go get in shape. Go get in shape
And
because
if you just be willing to commit to it and discipline to it. I don't do it now, and I own a gym, but
it teaches
don't think
you
about
things.
don't go in there wanting to lose 10 pounds. Just go in there committing to the process, and it will change you.
It
and then the
teaches
10
you
pounds will
so
come.
much discipline. Like I learned, because I mean, growing up, I was not because our parents weren't very strict on us at all. So like discipline and dedication and stuff like that, like we didn't have it, you know. So I had to teach all that to myself, and I'm thankful to fitness that it did. It was luckily I fell in love with it, and it felt easy. But I just learned. I mean, I tell people all the time, and when I did bodybuilding, I did 6 years of eating chicken and rice.
Yeah,
You give me chicken and rice now, I'll throw up. But at that moment, it was easy. But the dedication and the sacrifice that teaches you, man, I gave up everything. I mean, I gave up partying. I gave up all of it because I literally just focused on, and I didn't have anything else going on in my life at the time. So I was like, I'm fitness. And it was like I said, anything we do, we're 100 in it. I mean, like fishing, that's my thing now in business. I go fishing. It drives my wife crazy. Like it's fun for me. It's an outlet, but I'm trying to become the best too at the same time. And she's like, why do you care? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I just have to be the best. So like, it's kind of weird.
Well, I was kind of saying when the people say something, I was like, oh, if they didn't bite, at least you're out there. I'm like, no, I could have been doing something else. Like I'm here to catch.
I wasted my time.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm mad at myself because I suck. You know,
Yeah.
like,
I'm unfortunately unable to enjoy anything that way.
oh, I stopped, dude. I stopped a long time ago of asking. The only person that asked how their day was is Josh, because you know, I just tell him I hate him because how good he is, but it makes me feel good. You know, what made me realize good about fishing is when I started fishing with Josh heavily, and we would struggle. I'm like, okay, I don't suck as bad as I think I do.
That's right.
These guys don't catch one of the best guys, and like we caught 2 fish. You know, last time I went out, I caught 6 by myself. You know, like I don't.
Perspective's a lot.
It
in
is
everything.
like, you know, and I tell people that all the time that with anything, you get around the best before you start judging yourself so hard. Like see them work, see their struggles, get off social media. These guys are posting old pictures of what they caught 6 months ago for marketing. They didn't catch it today. Yeah. They caught that bonito last summer. You just don't know the difference.
That's true.
One thing that you said that's very unpopular in society, and I kind of want to dig with you because you got me thinking about it because I'm on my kids all the time about it. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. Get off the screen. It's bad for you. Bad for you. You said screen time can be good. What do you mean by that?
Well, I wouldn't. Larken, there was a time, that he was watching oh my God, the awful child stuff.
There's some
that just like
stuff.
burns in your brain. It wasn't screen time, but my little sister, she used to watch the, oh my God, I can't remember what it was, but I still hear the songs in my head. Cause back then, you had you were cool if you had the minivan with the tape player, with the screens or whatever. The Wiggles.
The Wiggles.
Oh my, hot potato. Oh my God. So we went through those phases with Larkin too, but he found outdoor TV on his own. I didn't even know what Carolina All Out was when he started watching it. He started watching that stuff, and he obsessed over the taxidermy videos and this different stuff. And so he now will watch the dumbest stuff. I hear him scrolling. I'm like, dude, turn that off. You're rotting your brain. I completely agree. I completely agree that there's things that kids can get exposed to that they don't need to be exposed to. What I will say to some of that is that life exposes the kids to things that we didn't get exposed to. So it's our responsibility. And I know they're delicate and they can't comprehend certain things. I understand that. But I can't control everything he's going to get exposed to. He's going to go to school and he's going to hang out with a little kid whose parents may believe differently I do and what they're exposed to. And that kid's going to be talking about stuff. I feel like my bigger job is to define Larkin's character and to help Larkin know right from wrong. And I think exposure to certain things can help present things. But with the screen time stuff, man, turn on anything and see if you can't hear about AI. It's a way of life now. The people that say, why don't you go outside and play with like I was when I was a kid? Well, you didn't have any damn thing else to do.
Yeah, it was your only option.
Yeah, you didn't have anything to do. And you didn't have some of the cool stuff we have now. If we keep trying to live in the generations that before us, then we're not going to be prepared for the generations ahead of us. And so I think there's consequences to screen time, but I'm never going to be that guy that's like, oh, I don't let my kids play on TV. And you may not agree with me, and that's completely fine. I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I may find out I'm completely wrong, and I wish I could retract these words. But I believe there's value in the information that can be accessed through the screens.
Yeah, you got me totally thinking because you're totally right. I mean, if we take them off of the iPad and off of this technology, well, that's what is going to pretty much control everything that they do. So if they don't know how to use it and control it, then
yeah, and use that junk to your advantage. Isn't it annoying sometimes when a kid's asking you 1,000 questions? You know what Larkin does now when he's got a question?
Siri, Alexa,
Siri or ChatGPT. Hey Siri, what is the such and such of such and such? Dude, so in my mind, I am he'll say, well, I'll say, I don't know, dude, look it up. But this wasn't some grand plan, but when I look back on it, I'm teaching the kid how to problem solve for himself.
When that's going to be problem solving. I mean, that's what it is.
Eventually, he's going to quit asking me, and he's going to just like we do with other people. They're going to say they're just going to go to that, and they're going to figure it out. Well. So I just think it's a way. And ever wondering, I'll tell Larkin, hey buddy, your new episode just released, and he's like, all right, cool. He'll watch somebody else. He won't want to watch his own stuff, but we're essentially using a screen to help create a business also.
So you're going to tell them to get off of it, but you want other kids to watch it.
Yeah. We're making stuff for kids and families. And so, but I don't know. So I think there's value in them. I think to be that person that says screen times are awful, kids should go outside and play. You're right. We use our screen to inspire how we go outside and play.
True. It's all about what you do. It's how you intake it all, and how you. It's just like with anything. I mean, drinking a soda. I mean, a soda don't hurt you, but if you drink 12 a day, yeah, it's probably not good for you.
Yeah.
But let's finish off, man. I got some fast hit questions for you.
Okay.
One of my favorites. Biggest sacrifice you made?
Ooh. My God, dude.
So many of them, right? I couldn't answer that one either, so that's one of my favorite questions.
I just had this conversation with Larkin. We did an interview with Pirate Radio last week, and they was like, what's your favorite such and such? And he gets stumped, and he's feeling this pressure to pick his absolute favorite thing. And I told him afterwards, hey, buddy, don't feel that pressure. Just say anything. They don't have to, you're not going to be condemned because you said your favorite fish is trout, but you really think you love snook better. But like in this one here, I take that one to be, I think that's a pretty deep question. And I don't know what my greatest sacrifice is. I think that maybe putting Larken first comes with sacrifice, but I don't see it as a sacrifice.
True. I mean, it's
maybe.
I guess it is a sacrifice, but you don't see it that way.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can give you a fast round answer to that one. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think I could either, so I don't feel
because I would hope that however I answer that, I'd want it to be very definitive, and I don't know that I.
Yeah,
sorry,
totally got it. Hardest season of life.
My early 30s.
Okay, same. Most misunderstood thing about success.
That it comes quick and easy, and it's defined differently by the person.
True.
Like somebody may see me successful, and like I don't see myself successful. I just see it as there was no other way.
Yeah.
But also, people may think that people define success differently, so I think that's challenging.
Yeah. We my wife has a family friend, and she helps run all this stuff for my wife's mom, and she walked up here before we started the show. She said, "Remember, stay humble. You don't got that problem with me." I was like, "I'm very humble. Like, I have imposter syndrome. Like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even know like why I'm here half the time and what I'm doing." So, biggest lesson fatherhood has taught you?
They're always watching,
especially dads, because I mean, I'm not gonna say. I mean, I had a good dad. Don't get me wrong. But not the best dad at the same time. But I watched his every move. Like, he didn't pour into us a whole lot. Wasn't around a whole lot. But dude, I am so much like my father. It is scary, and there's times I'm like, that's not good. I mean, I'm like, I gotta check myself at the door real quick. I'm like, I'm acting way too much like my dad. Cause like I just watched. For one of them is my dad gave a lot of his attention to my brother, a lot, because he was older or whatever, and so a lot of it was I was just trying to get his attention more than anything. But I would watch everything, and like I got a lot of good things out of it. But a lot of things a lot of the greatest lessons in my life is to watch what not to do. You know, like even that with my father, I would watch what not to do. You know, like, hey, he did that and that did not work. So
don't let me get past what I'm about to say and not comment on that. But yeah, I think Larken is, like I tell you, this is not like a visual stunt. Like Larken's the only thing in my life that I love unconditionally. Like, I love that kid. Even when I'm pissed off with him, I just want to be with him. Right. And so I forget that he's 8 years old because of some of the stuff like I expose him to and we're with. So I end up cutting jokes just like I'm cutting a joke with one of my buddies. And I say things to him, and he's aware of innuendos and different things that maybe he shouldn't be. And so I regret sometimes, like, maybe I'm oversharing. Maybe I'm fast tracking him and I'm stealing some of his innocence. But they're always watching. And then the other piece, what did you just say? And I said, I don't want to forget. Oh my God, what did you just say? Because I knew I'd forget.
Well, I was talking about my father about the even the bad stuff.
No, it's the last little tagline you said. Oh man, my mind, I swear,
we both forgot.
It's scary. It's
horrible, isn't it?
It's scary the way I'm scaring myself these days. I'm forgetting stuff, and my wife's even brought it up.
It's just so much going on up there, man. I don't think there ain't nothing wrong with us. It's just so much.
Maybe I'll think of it again. There's something funny.
It's cluttered. It's just cluttered. What gives you peace? I think I know the answer, but what gives you peace?
Seeing Larken happy. Mm-hmm. Like, it sounds so funny. Like, it sounds so cliche that I keep referencing him, but like,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Peace is seeing fruits of the vision, fruits of the effort, and it coming together. You know, like, man, Larken taking his BB gun and just going out into the woods by himself to go shoot at stuff that, I mean, I guess technically NC Wildlife, he may be shooting at some stuff that's illegal. I don't know. But I can't wait for that day that he walks back up. He hadn't done it yet. He hadn't come back with anything in his hand. But I know how
he
happy
comes back with that squirrel. I
know how happy that kid's going to be. But like, just sitting back and saying, man, the days that I mowed this empty lot and dreamed what it would be like if Larken could have a treehouse in those woods to see now the pond dug right behind the house and to see him living it the way I envisioned it, man, that brings me peace.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what gives you peace? What keeps you up at night?
Sustaining it.
Scary, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was a podcast, it keeps me up at night because, man, like I've been in some dark places in my life and in the slumps pretty bad. And like, I'm terrified to go back where I was, like terrified. So like, yeah.
See, for me, I'm not.
You're not?
Mm-mm. It'd almost be a relief. It'd almost be a relief because, like, I'm no happier now with anything materialistic and responsibilities than I was before.
I think mine's freedom.
I think that scares me a little bit, the lack of flexibility and freedom, maybe. But less responsibility would almost seem like a relief. What is I have people that work with us that have committed to us,
Right.
And I don't think they see it as transactional, but like I've had some of them say, hey man, like I got this other opportunity. Like, man, I love you. I hate to do it, but like, and we figure out a way to make it work. Right. That's another thing where Larken's so special to me is because like he can't quit me. Like I guess
Right.
he can walk away, but he's like my one guy.
He can't
As long as I
quit you.
treat him right. My wife
Right.
can leave me. My key staff members, my staff can leave me. Like he's my guy, man. And so the thing that keeps me up at night is, am I doing enough? It used to keep me up. When's the person gonna call and shatter my world and say they're leaving or whatever? So it's just a lot of responsibility.
It is.
Keeping everybody providing because like
You're responsible for a lot of people.
I want to underpromise and overdeliver.
True. How can people find you on social media and stuff? How can they follow all this cool stuff? I know you're just on Waypoint TV, the last episode of that. So what are all these different avenues?
My Instagram is just michael.letchworth. Foxhollooutdoors.com is our website. Fox Hollow Outdoors NC is our YouTube. And then Waypoint TV is where the shows are on demand. Now, you can get to anything through anything there. Our episodes are on our website. Our episodes are on YouTube. And then we've got we've been trying to try our hand at putting some other videos out there on YouTube. Man, that's such a discipline, such a commitment.
I don't know how these influencers do it, man. I really don't.
It's tough because I'm walking a line of trying to enjoy the moment and be present. And then, so we have to split things up now. It's like, this is an opportunity. We're going to try to film some stuff. This is an opportunity. We're just going to have fun. But the websites, Waypoint TV is a great place. If nobody's familiar with what I've learned is that a lot of people, when I say Waypoint, really are like, what's Waypoint? Waypoint for me was one of the first places I could find and consume outdoor content, and it's free. You can download the app on your Apple TV. You can go to their website, but there's just a ton of outdoor programming that is on demand. They have a channel you can watch live, but you can get your hunting, your fishing, your fix there. And so we live there. We'll be there for the foreseeable future. All of our episodes are there. But yeah, our website, if you're interested in the season, but I'm very responsive. So if there's any questions, I'm all the time answering pig cooking questions or seasoning questions or anything, kid gear questions. So we love people to follow along and hope for some opportunities to meet some new people and experience some new things.
Well, season 1 just finished, right, on Waypoint.
Mm-hmm.
When's season 2 start?
So season 2, man, that's still kind of to be determined. This stuff is not what people may think it is.
Oh, I'm sure.
It is not like, it's not just like somebody, like when you have a TV show, maybe for some people, and even for them, it's not, they've just got bigger sponsors. It looked like maybe you've made it or somebody's paying you to do it. Like, this was very expensive for me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Very thankful that we had people help support us to absorb some of it. So for me is trying to find value. I thought it was very important to take this step of the first season, to put it out there, to build the kind of the brand and the exposure for future opportunities. I don't know what season 2 is going to look like yet.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's going to be a full on other season, if it'll be a brand partnership where we do some content series like that, or I have to regress to just some general short format YouTube and that kind of stuff. It will really depend. You know, in my mind, this thing's over with, right? Because the last episode just aired, but we're still getting discovered by new people. And so that audience and that appreciation for what we're doing is still evolving. So I think a lot will determine once we get to ICAST this summer and stuff, because we're still trying to define what Fox Hollow is. Are we a fishing show? Are we a father show? Like, where are we? That's the hard part in what we're doing too. And finding support is there's not a clear category.
Yeah, they don't know.
And all these brands, they need categories. You know, they want you're in this community, you're in this, and so it's very hard with what we're doing, and that's fine for me because all I want to do is if it inspires somebody else to just like
Right.
be happy with their kid, then that's fine. I don't have to.
Right.
I'm not doing it for sponsors. I'm not doing it truly for income. But if we're going to keep doing it at the level we're doing it, we're going to have some kind of support to do it.
Yeah, it's got to fund itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has been awesome, man. This is what the show's all about. You know, everybody talks about building businesses and having success and stuff, but the secret is, can you build a business? Can you build a life? Be present in a life, raise kids, be present in that, be happy. Can you do all that at the same time? That's secret. And, you know, that's why it's called Below the Surface. I mean, that's why we call the show that. I mean, because that's all that stuff. Everybody can do what they see. They can build that business. They can have that success in what everybody sees. But what's all this mush going on? And, man, you're probably one of the best examples that I've had opportunity to talk to in a while. That
I appreciate that, man.
That does all that at the same time.
It's weird because it's very awkward for people to say things, even like you just said, because people see me in a light that I don't see myself sometimes. So that imposter syndrome comes out, but also the people that have these desires to try stuff, like you don't have to knock it out of the park, and it doesn't have to end the way that you thought it had. Like if it doesn't go exactly the way you envisioned it, like that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Like just evolve.
And it's a slow process.
It's a very slow process.
Be patient.
Yeah. Dude, I've been in the barbecue business for 23 years. 23 years. Just in the last couple of years does anybody really know my name to associate me with Sam Jones Barbecue.
Yep.
Honestly. You know, and I've been on the road. I've been cooking. I've been doing now. It's different, you know, when the place is called Sam Jones and you're in the kind of the shadows, and I've always kind of been the little brother to the Samuel and along the days. And so I've had to make effort and intentionally step out on my own, but it was really through some other, like doing other business stuff and branching out that I found my identity. The restaurant association, I think, gives me a little credibility, but my identity is far, far from that.
Yep.
But like it does take time, dude. You know, Fox Hollow was started 4 years ago. And that is an example of like when you're doing something, when a side hustle, it's easier and it's not financially dependent, right? Because when you bite it all off and risk it for the biscuit, you ain't got no choice but to grind.
Right.
But when it's a side hustle, it you get excited, and that excitement wears off. It's easy to let it die. And so I appreciate your kind words, but
yeah, man, I mean it. I really do, man. And you know, you're somebody to look up to, and a lot of more people need to tag themselves to you, man, because especially when it comes to stuff you're doing in business, stuff you're doing with your kid, it's powerful, and it's, I appreciate it, man. It's very positive.
It's not for attention, but
because I have two little girls, I
there's
struggle.
Awareness.
Yeah, because I struggle, between because I've missed. I mean, they're 8 and 7. I mean, they're 8 and 6, and about to be 9 and 7, and I've missed 90% of their life. And now I'm trying to play catch up. And they're girls at the same time. Like, I mean, it was just me and my brother. So, like, I'm trying to, like, connect in this different way. Like, I'm trying to figure it all out. So, that's why, like, man, I give you kudos on what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I don't want to drag this out, but I do want to say one more thing that I forgot to say during the mental health stuff and during the analyzation of life. One of the things I did was kind of eulogize myself, and I didn't love every component of what – if people were to stand there and be honest, not sugarcoat it.
Right.
Oh, he was a good guy. You just had to know him. Like, not those kind of things. Making an impact. And that was what really kind of helped shape my desires for Larken and for my life. And I figured if I could just be a good person to him and be a good person for him, then other things would be seen the same way too.
See that? I can see that. It gives you a reason, purpose.
Yeah. If I'm doing everything's right around him, then I'm doing things right everywhere else too.
True that.
So,
got anything else?
Man, you keep giving me the opportunity. I'm going to keep thinking of something to keep talking. So we better tie a bow on it somewhere.
Well, good, man. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Always, you can find us on YouTube, Depth Over Image, on Facebook, Below the Surface. As we continue to grow this thing and having guests like you, that's what helped grow this. So I thank you for the opportunity
Thank you for the opportunity
to come on here, man. It's a blessing. I really appreciate it, and hope everybody has a good day. Appreciate y'all.
Good day, guys. Thanks.
That's cool.